of the Potomac this week, and I'm going to particularly point to two things. One is when Candiace showed her house, and she went into the living room and showed off her luxurious, huge white couch. I was shocked. I thought it was horrible. What in the world was she trying to prove? This is a family of three people, three adults, and the only person with children is Candiace's husband. He has two children from two or three women previously. So he knows those kids are going to be occasionally visiting him. I guess he has some custody rights. And he knows that white is very bad for kids. So what's this statement when his kids come into the house? It's that his kids are unwelcome, that his kids have to mind their P's and Q's, that the kids can't sit on the couch if they're in their regular clothes, and they have to be careful about eating on the couch. They might be relegated to eating on the floor or in the kitchen only. They're not going to feel comfortable. So this was a terrible choice for a father who may or may not really like his kids. He seems like he gets along well with the daughter and son that we see in this particular episode. But to have this couch in your house when you know you already have children who, by parental rights, you will have visiting you here and there, I thought was a pretty hostile statement. The couch, to me, is very pretentious. Now, this couple really doesn't have much money unless they have snorkeled away money that they had previously in some secret accounts. As far as I know, Candiace is a student. She's working on her MBA degree, and she's only in her second semester. Her husband is doing cooking on the internet, so he's not making much. And then he's playing golf, so he's spending tons of money on golf course rentals and equipment, and eating at the golf course restaurant and betting on golf course games. So he's spending a lot of money, probably much more than he's taking in. So to have that big white couch looks pretentious, and actually it was a flashback to the old Sammy Davis, Frank Sinatra days when they would have these very pretentious parties that they would televise to show how rich they are, and you would see furniture like that where these men were surrounded by a bunch of half-naked women. So if that's the image they want, they certainly got it by having that couch. That couch also said to me that this couple is fake. Nothing about them is real. They have a thick covering of fakeness that you're not going to be able to penetrate. They are putting on a show for television, for friends, for whoever walks in that house, and it's not going to be real. You are going to be dealing with some very fake people in that house, and you need to put on your fake look also and deal with them fake to fake, because these people are not going to tell you who they really are. To make it even worse, the couch is white. The couch is too big, too heavy. The couch is overstuffed. These are stuffy people. They don't want to get to know you really, and they don't want you to get to know them. They are going to circle themselves in fake grandeur, and who they are really, you'll never know. But that couch also had tufts. It was a heavily tufted couch. Now, if you know anything about keeping things clean, tufts are one of the hardest things to keep clean. That couch, especially if it's not leather or something that can be sort of wiped up with a cloth, is going to be extremely difficult to keep clean. Tufts will gather dirt, whether it's from the air, from the clothing, from whatever. And heaven knows if somebody does anything to cause the tuft to accumulate more dirt, it's going to be very hard to get out, and that means that couch is going to be needing a cleaning service to keep it nice and white. Or it can be covered with plastic, or as in some houses, they cover it with a sheet so you don't get any air dust on it at all. The white couch tells me that these people are dull. They don't have any imagination. They can't picture a designed couch, any patterns, any coloring. They want the couch bland, white, no thought, just a white, tufted, heavy, overstuffed couch. The white couch also tells me that these people are lifeless. Nothing good is going to happen in that room with that couch. These people are lifeless. You're not going to be playing games. You're not going to be eating well because you're going to get stuff on the couch probably, or you're going to be spilling drinks, or who knows what. So this is going to be a lifeless room, and this is a lifeless couple that's basically living. The couch will take over their lives, and that couch will be their life story. It tells me they're also regimented. These people are fixed in a pattern that controls them and all of their activities. They're very regimented, and I would not expect them to be great conversationalists. But speaking of conversation, that couch does remind me of the old-fashioned conversation pits that we used to see back in the 1970s and 80s in bars and so forth, where they raised the floor around the couch, and so the couch was lower. You walked down to the couch, and then you were kind of trapped in that pit, and usually there was a fireplace and so forth in the center of the area of the couch, and then you were stuck down there talking. It was always a problem getting out of the pit because people didn't want to see you go because they didn't want to be left alone in the pit. Being left alone in the pit was not a good deal either, because then you felt kind of abandoned and, hey, where is everybody? And so there's nothing good I can say about that couch or what it means for the family. The next thing I want to talk to about that Real Housewives of the Potomac was Candiace's reaction to her bonus children, as she called them. First of all, they're not her children. They're not her bonus children. Those are the children of her husband. And she can call them something, but bonus children, to me, I don't think has a very great connotation. When you have stepchildren, you're more like a friend of the family. In other words, the children have parents. They have Candiace's husband, and they have the woman he used to be married to that gave birth to those children. That's their parents, and they don't want any other person calling them a parent. Do not go to the school and in any way address yourself as the parent of these children, because it causes a conflict internally in the kids. They know you're not the parent, and the school will be looking at Candiace like, how can you be the parent when genetically there's nothing linking you to these kids that can be observed? The other thing about being a step-parent is that you have to know your boundaries. And one of the boundaries of being a step-parent is you don't try to touch the kid. The kid is just like a person you'd see on the street. You don't touch them physically unless you're given permission to. So you ask, may I touch you here? May I touch you there? And preferably don't ask and don't touch. Let the kid alone and don't bother them. Don't touch their hair, because fondling their hair, to me, it's just very creepy. What are you doing? Why are you touching their hair? Why are you playing with their hair? It's very confusing how it's going to be interpreted. For me, when I saw Candiace fondling this little girl's hair, I thought for sure she was going to try to cut it off and turn it into a wig for herself. But I don't know. I think the little girl freezes up. I don't think she wants somebody else to touch her hair. And if she gives permission for somebody to touch her hair, that's up to her. I'm sure she would be more comfortable. But in general, never, ever touch your stepchild's hair. It's creepy, and it can be interpreted as overstepping, and it can also be a step towards sexual improprieties that may come in the future. Leave the kids alone. Don't touch their hair, don't touch their bodies, don't touch their butts, don't touch their feet, don't force them to kiss you, nothing. Let the kids alone. They are just separate individuals who you happen to meet because you became a friend of the other parent. In this case, Candiace became a friend of their father. The other thing, don't try to sneak up on the kids the way a parent might. Don't go plopping into their rooms when they're in their underwear or where they might be naked. Don't go investigating into their private places. Let the parent, the genetic parent, do any investigation of the child. The step-parent really does not have the right to do this stuff unless they feel, with the parent's approval, that there is something going on, like maybe drug abuse or hiding drugs in the room or something like that, where they feel it's going on in the house and they want to help do a correction. But any correction would be done by the parent, not the step-parent, unless conditions are unusual or unless the parent has openly given permission and told the child that the step-parent would be acting like the parent in this home. In that case, the kid might not even want to come visit the parent with the step-parent if they feel that they have given all parental rights to a step-parent. If they don't like that step-parent, they might decide, hey, I'd rather just spend all my time with the other parent, in this case, the mother. So these were a couple of things that I found really annoying. Oh, the other thing was when Giselle and Candiace were sitting on the couch, and then Candiace decided she wanted something to drink. She didn't get up and get something to drink. She asked her husband to get them something to drink. She spoke to him, I felt, kind of like he was a waiter. There wasn't a nice friendliness about it. It was more of a command or of a request you might make of somebody who's obligated to do such a thing. You know, he wasn't invited to sit down and join the conversation. After all, his kids were there watching this taping, and they wanted to know exactly how did their dad fit into this whole scene. He wasn't welcomed in the scene, and the kids, I'm sure, noticed that and saw that all of the focus was put on Candiace. He responded with a bit of sarcasm, saying, oh, he would go and put on an apron. That meant, I'm not really happy being treated like a waiter by you women sitting here. You can fill in the terms he might have been thinking. You women sitting here on this big couch and asking me to go get you something to eat and something to drink. He did come back with drinks, and he did come back with some pre-cut fruit, which was very nice. But it kind of also sends a message that this couple is in trouble. Their fakeness is hurting not only themselves, but their partner. And the partners feel the stuffiness, the heaviness, the fakeness, and it is going to affect their marriage in the long term. And I predict these two will be getting a divorce. Plus, he's living with her mother, who appears to be paying all the bills. I think she paid for the couch, she paid for the house, she's paying for everything else that's being done there, because I have seen no source of income except for what's coming from the Real Housewives of the Potomac, and that's a temporary job. So all of the money must be coming from Candiace's mother, and that also will have some implications on the status of their marriage, I would imagine, as it relates to the feelings of Candiace's husband, whose name I don't even know. So I just wanted to say a little bit about my impression of Candiace on this first episode of Real Housewives of Potomac.